My name is Tamim Mobayed, and I am a researcher and I'm a student part-time as well. So I would want to take you back to Ramadan 2017, where I was fortunate to spend some of the last 10 days, and specifically the night of the 27th in Mecca, for an evening of, as you would imagine, worship and ibadah, dua. And it would have been something that I would have felt was a very positive spiritual experience. Coming towards the end of the night, and as Fajr was approaching, we started thinking about getting suroor. And so we retreated to the outskirts of the Haram and we found a fast food restaurant. And I can't remember exactly what happened, but I really lost my cool with one of the members of staff in the restaurant. It seemed like such an it seemed uncharacteristic, but it also seemed so out of place with the night and with what we were doing and with what we were trying to achieve during Ramadan. The two key things that I guess would have come to my mind, number one, I guess on a psychological level, the idea of self-control. So of course this was an example of bad self-control, but it got me thinking about Ramadan and its unique relationship with this fascinating and really important psychological trait. I think if we were going to say that if there was one characteristic or trait from psychology that is useful in terms of life, happiness, success, well-being, it would really be self-control over some of the other things that we might assume are more important, like self-esteem. So self-control is something that researchers believe, specifically Roy Baumeister, he believes it's like a muscle. So it's something that you can strengthen, and it's something that you can overwork as well. And based on his theory of the strength model of self-control, Ramadan is a fascinating and invaluable opportunity for us to strengthen our self-control. But my experience in the Haram is an example of, as well, maybe of how that can be overworked and how you can become short on your temper or on your patience or on your ability to meet goals or to behave in the best way when you've kind of overworked your self-control. I think the importance of self-control, it can help us meet any kind of goal that we want to achieve. Three of them really jumped out from the SDG list. Physical and psychological or mental health, physical and psychological well-being, I think it's termed as, reducing consumption. So when you've mastered your ego and you have a good control of yourself, you're going to be able to reduce your consumption a lot more effectively, and even overcoming inequality. So researchers like Roy Baumeister have found that people with higher self-control are able to control their biases more, which is quite interesting. So if you're able to control your biases more, you're able to treat people more equally. But I guess one of the other lessons I want to derive from that story, and it goes maybe a little bit deeper in the spiritual side, is the idea that we see in Surah Al-Kahf with Musa and Khidr, that we don't really know when we're at our high and when we're at our low. And it's important not to attach too much value to how we perceive things are going. If you had asked me during the night of the 27th in Mecca, in the Haram, in the shadow of the Kaaba, how was I doing? I would have probably told you I was in probably one of the best states that I was in. Yet, just a little bit later, I completely undone a lot of that, and I showed that maybe I wasn't in as good a situation as I had have thought. And again, maybe another lesson from our scholars is Imam al-Ghazali. He talks about the person who fasts at the moment of fasting. At the moment of breaking their fast, they should be suspended between hope and fear. This idea that we don't really know whether what we've done has been accepted. And it's important that he talks about not just fear, he talks about hope as well. So it's this idea that we are hoping for the best, but we're also fearful that maybe things aren't as good as we would have thought. And I think it's a tempering force. So Imam al-Ghazali is asking us to hold two almost conflicting states at the same time, and that would be an indication of real maturity. If you think of children, if anyone, of course, if you know any children, they can kind of really only hold one state at the same time. As adults and as growing adults and as spiritually and psychologically maturing adults, we're able to hold two. And remember that I think more than anything else, it's about submitting to Allah. Whether we think things are going well or things are going badly, whether it's on an individual level or a societal level, it's about submission to Allah. كل سنة وأنتم طيبين.